Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Africa, and warm welcome to My Life Experience with IP. This evening, we get to discuss, of course, various issues as we always do it on Saturday at 20:30 hours via DSTV channel 279, GoTV channel 27, and also Topstar Decoder channel 102. Now, on today's episode on My Life Experience with IP, we feature a dynamic entrepreneur and author who has built a reputation, a very strong reputation as a business leader, who is passionate about entrepreneurship, writing, but also personal development. He is an author of The Lie of Hard Work. That's the title of the book. Although quite thought-provoking book that challenges conventional beliefs about success and productivity, encouraging individuals to work extra hard and also smarter. But of course, not only smarter, you have to be strategic as it is supposed to be in order to build systems that create sustainable results. Keagan Mulundu is a young inspirational to many young people in Zambia, as well as professionals across the country. And also, he tells us that you have to embrace innovation, leadership, and mindset change, as well as transformation ideas that will build yourself and Zambia at large a better country, a nation, but also at personal level. He joins me on set as one of the guests I have this evening as we have this interesting conversation we normally have. Remember that My Life Experience is meant to inspire people like you and myself in case of you like giving up in life. Remember that every day on Saturday when you tune into this program, we're here to change your life. Allow me to welcome my brother, very young but quite energetic. Welcome, Keagan.
Thank you so much, and thank you to have me here.
Good to see you.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
Sure.
The last time, we were speaking in the background, you and I, before we went on air, that the last time we interacted was it last year?
Yes,
early
last year.
Or mid last year?
I think that was later last year, November, somewhere there.
Correct.
Sure, when we were at the book launch.
Fantastic.
Of Mr. Isaac Pomboroka.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Here you are. I remember we interacted. You were scheduled to appear for this program, but of course they always say ghost time is the best.
Indeed, it is.
How have you been?
No, I've been great, and just to add on, the ghost time is the best. I believe, when the fullness of time has come for an idea, nobody can stop it. But before the right time, there will always be challenges here and there. And I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Fantastic.
Sure. Not knowing how you've been.
I've been well. Quite energetic. I would have said I'm terrific. Here, for us to use the words of the late legendary Sagasali, I would say I'm quite terrific.
Oh, I see. No, good to hear that.
Thank you so much. I know that you are doing a lot in the background. You're one, I think, the few young people I've seen who have been running up and down, trying to help the country prosper, trying to help the fellow young people to succeed, encourage them that, look, don't give up. You have to wake up and do something on your own. Yes. Here is Keagan Mulundu. Let's begin from here. How young are you?
Well, such is an interesting question, which most oftentimes I don't like talking about my age, because I feel sometimes when people may judge me based on my age, which I think they must be able to judge me based on my output, based on what I'm able to do.
Right.
I think for me that's the most important thing. But I'm not quite too young, and I'm not also quite too old.
Correct.
But I'm a youth.
You are youth?
Yes, I'm a youth.
Interesting. Take me through, as we begin the conversation, the people would want to understand, like I mentioned in my preamble, My Life Experience with IP is an informative program. It's a program which aims to reform, to rekindle people's dreams, to inspire people's dreams, those who might have given up already, or someone may be in the process of giving up in life. Who is Keagan Mulundu rather? Who is Keagan Mulundu?
Okay, so Keagan Mulundu is actually a young Zambian man who is a businessman, like has introduced, and also an author. But of course, with a very humble background.
Right.
Before we talk about those things, because those things obviously came up later. But before these things, you realize that this Keagan Mulundu was born right in the midst of a village, which is behind another village, where villagers meet to discuss village matters. So this was in Tepa village of Mumbwa district, under the Chief Shakumbila. That's where I was born from. Right. And I was born in quite a very poor family. It was a poor family where my father was a small-scale farmer, and I was born as the last born in the family of 3, 2 girls, and I was the only boy. So now, like I've mentioned, my father was not doing fine. Right. He was just, trying out to push things in life. And, life of in the village, when you are not doing fine, because income is dependent upon farming. And for you to do farming, really, you need equipment, which equipments may mean also sometimes maybe cattle. Correct. For using for plowing and all those things. And if you do not have those things, there's a thing where you have to be heading other people's cattle so that when it is time for rainy season, they come to plow for you and do the farming. So that's the kind of life that my father was living, like heading cattle for other people so that when it's time for farming, they come to do the farming for us. But usually also that comes with the challenges, because when the rain starts, obviously you know that the one who's going to start first is the owner. You who don't have, you cannot be the first one. So sometimes you find that the rain starts in November, maybe your first chain to be plowed is going to maybe late in November. But of course we endured through that challenge, and later on, it was a very, happy family. But later on, my father became sick. Right. And I remember that time I was only in grade 3. Actually, grade 2, he became sick like for over a year. And it was at this time when like we began to saw as if hope was getting there, like we're getting there, because he had mind to buy his own cattle, like 2 of them. Now he needed to have 4 to make it like the pair that is the one that is needed for plowing. So when he became sick, he got sick for like a year. And in that year, he spent again what he had worked for, almost all of it, trying to recover. But unfortunately, he died. And when he died, I was in grade 3. I think something that seemed to be a very happy family, it is scattered because of his death. And I remember, because I was very much brilliant in school, I was even told, say no, that was my mother now. She said, no, you see, your father has died, and I didn't want to push you so that you go up to grade 12.
So your father died when you were in grade 3?
Grade 3, yes.
Quite sad.
Sure. So she said, I want you to skip some grades so that maybe even before I die, I can be able to see you maybe go up to grade 12. So from grade 3, I was taken to grade 5 instead of grade 4. And the same year, unfortunately also, just in the space of 13 months, my mother also died. And that was a very sad moment, because now we had to get exposed to this life where orphans have to struggle in this life.
They have to navigate.
They have to really navigate, and it was not an easy thing. So that time I was just in grade 5, because I was taken to grade 5 when I was supposed to be in grade 4. Then we said, now moving from one uncle to the other, from one auntie to the other. I can tell you that life was not easy. This is why actually I've even made a resolve to say, in as much as God bless me, I also want to be able to be a blessing, especially to the fatherless, to the motherless out there, because some situations that they are subjected to, trust me, they are not good, and we must understand that no one chooses to be an orphan. We don't apply, it just happens.
Let's hold on there. I want us to take it slow now.
Sure.
So your father died when you were in grade 3?
Yes.
Later on, or within a short period of time, your mother also passed on?
Yes.
You become orphans?
Yes.
I understand the life of a villager. You are a village boy. Yes. And also you've talked about the background which your parents lived or your father lived and stuff like that, of trying to be a kettle header and stuff like that. And later on, I understand those things. Sometimes you find that parents, they will be taught that they'll tell the children that you can't go to school. The best thing you can do is to become a kettle header, for example. So you start working. In some other villages or in some other system, they will even subject their children, or their children will get employed. For them, it's employment. They'll give them even, let's say, they'll tell you, okay, you'll be looking after these cows for the next maybe, is it 4 or 5 years? Thereabout? Yes. Yeah, correct. Then when you clock, or when you finish your 5-year tenure to look after those cattle,
then you are given...
You know the story.
Yes,
very well.
I know very well. I know very well.
That's a village life.
Yes.
Wow.
Sure. So, like in that case, like you have explained, yes, that's how it works. Like they are going to give you maybe 5 years, because now you must understand that in the village, when you have an animal,
yes.
you have a cow, whatever it is, you are actually counted as somebody who's, yes, you've not made it, but you are at least somewhere. Because by just having that, you all know you are somewhere. And that is the culture, especially from where I come from.
That's wealthy.
That's wealthy.
I hear you.
Yes, that's why you hear even there are songs like this done by Kadas Music, who says Igombe Gabama, Gombe Koga Ndipa Uribanda.
Yes,
meaning my mother's animal is the one that makes me to feel proud, because they are these animals. So it's that background where I come from, where sometimes you tend to look at the future as, being great, especially when you just own one animal or two. So it was at that time when also my father was heading for other people, but in this case, not for having an animal, but for them to plow for us.
Fantastic.
Sure.
Wow. So let's get to that point now. You became an orphan, and you had to struggle in between. How do I navigate my way out?
Sure.
You are being kept by your uncle this side. If things are not okay, maybe, for example, I'm just assuming you were chased from that uncle, or not chased, maybe the word chasing would be too disrespectful.
Sure.
But you are requested to leave that place because maybe your auntie, for example, does not like you. If it's not your auntie, it could be your own uncle as well. We are speaking to many lives out there who probably are in the same situation.
Sure.
Okay, but also you find that it's not a situation where both parents or guardians could be okay. Your uncle, your auntie, they all want to be with you. But maybe the children, their own biological children, they have a different view about you. Yeah. How was life in general of an orphan at that particular moment in you as Keagan Mulundu?
Okay. Well, I will start with a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I am not blaming my uncles,
right,
my aunties who took care of me from that time.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the person that I've become to be today,
yeah,
I do not really put a blame on anyone.
Yeah.
But then I think I had a lot of conceptions to say, no, this is my uncle.
In fact, hold on, Keagan. Let me just say on those words, because I don't want you to be misunderstood by anyone out there.
Sure.
But let me, viewers, I'm owning these words. This is basically a build-up to my question. I have covered stories, in the media as a journalist, of covering stories about orphans and how others could be mistreated, others, in a different dimension, different dynamics and stuff like that. They pop in. So this question was not really to say that my guest went through that, but this was IP trying to build up a question. So I own those words.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, proceed.
Sure. So this is what I have to say on that one.
Yeah.
Now, you must understand that orphans, actually, they go through two types of suffering, if I can say.
Yeah.
Which is the first one, I will call it mental, and the second one, which is the actual one. By mental, what I mean by this one is, for example, if I am living with my father, with my mother, and my father at that time have failed to provide for us food.
Right.
Yeah, I will understand. I will not say that my father is a bad person, my mother is a bad person. Why? Because I understand to say, no, they have just failed. They have tried, but they have failed. But now, if I'm an orphan, I'm being kept by someone else, such a situation happens. In my mind, I would think it's because they are not my biological parents. No wonder they have done this. So that is the mental aspect.
The aspect of natural failure will not
come in because you are not my biological parents. That's the mental part.
That's powerful.
Now, on the actual one now, is where now, like you gave an example, it could be maybe you are being kept by this uncle who's well-hearted, like very good-hearted. But the auntie on the other side is not as good as the uncle. And I don't know how this thing works. It's like, I don't know if maybe God in his own wisdom, he made it so that usually you will not find both the uncle and the auntie who are both good-hearted. In most cases, it will either be the uncle with a good heart, but the auntie is questionable. Or it's going to be the auntie with a good heart, but your uncle. So that's how it is. Or sometimes maybe by lucky, the two are okay, but the children, they look at you as an outcast. They look at you as intruder, as somebody who's come maybe to steal their the love that they're supposed to get from their parents, because this time now parents have to share that love with you as an orphan. Sometimes they even get to ask you painful questions. So you are here, where are your parents? Maybe they don't even understand, but it's so painful to you.
Those are reality stories.
That's the reality. This is what is happening on the ground. So usually I think the most important thing for me is to be able to speak to those who are going through these challenges. To say, yes, challenges might be there, but I think the only thing that is important is never to lose hope. To understand that there is hope in a living dog than a dead lion. So by that,
say that again.
Just...
I want you to say that again, slowly.
Please. I want them to understand that there is hope in the living dog than a dead lion. Just for the fact that you are going through challenges, of course these challenges that you did not apply for, that do not choose to be subjected to, maybe God is trying to prepare you for something great coming in front of you or ahead of you. So these things are real, and there is real suffering. Of course I cannot really do away with that thing. And I think as I proceed with my story, you understand that at some point, I even dropped out of school. Not because there was no one well able to maybe fund my education, but because those who are able, they washed their hands and say, no, I think we'll not be able to proceed sponsoring you. I think those are things that happen, but I just had to accept life and moved on.
At what point did you move from being an orphan? I'm more interested in that life of an orphan. How did you navigate that situation up to the point where at some point you were almost, you almost dropped out of school, or you eventually dropped out of school?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm also trying to be as very much careful as possible, especially that this interview, this program is live out there to the public. Who maybe even some of the people affected by this story might even be watching us as we speak. However, I'm not going again to leave out the truth just because somebody is going to watch. I think that's when we're going to be very much serious with what we are doing, to be able to put out just only the truth. So for me, I think I mentioned my father died when I was in grade 3, my mother died when I was in grade 5, but that was just in the space of 13 months. In between, from the time my father died up to the time my mother died. So from that time, I think I started school, by the way, at Mukubu Primary School of Mumbwa district, that is under Nangoma constituency. Yes, and from there, grade 6, I went to Mwimbi Primary School in Itepa village. From there, I went to Kezwa Primary School, which is also in Nangoma constituency of Mumbwa district. So now from there, I started now trying to push my education, and at that time, I went to Kapirimposhi to stay with my uncle there, who at least was well able in terms of the financial muscle, so that he can just be able to see me like complete my education. I stayed there for about 4 years because I was in grade 7 when I went there. I went up to grade 9, grade 10, I did my grade 10. Then, for some reasons, things could not work out for me to be able to proceed with my education. That's how I went, after grade 10, I went back to the village, the same village where I grew up from, that was in Tepa village, in Mumbwa district. So when I went there, it was very tough. And remember I mentioned that my father was a small-scale farmer who had a farm. And we had invested a lot in just shaping that farm. Of course, it's not a farm as you may imagine, you know, that nice farm. It's just land anyway, where there are small little houses that are just meant for survival. So at that time, people told me to say, you know what, I think for now, you know, you are the only boy child that your father had. And if anything, maybe what you can do now is just marry and settle right at his farm. So
how old were you by then?
I think at that time I was barely 15, 16 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So I even kept on asking them, say, now, are you sure that my age is the one that can marry and settle? And then they say, no, 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 don't look at your age. Look at the bigger picture. You are supposed to take care of your sisters. Now, at that time, my two sisters had both gotten married already, and they didn't even advance their education for them. So they were telling me to say, you see, where your sisters are, where they got married, they need somewhere to be going if at all things are hard in their marriages. So, and the only place is you as a man. So man up, marry and settle. So I think those calls were becoming loud each and every day. Such that sometimes I would even confuse myself, say, maybe, who knows, maybe it's God speaking to me. Like I need to have a place where my sisters can call home. Even when they have problems in their marriages, they will learn to me. And as an acting parent now, since my parents are no more, I will be able to solve their problems. But then later on again, as I was trying to maybe go that route and what, again something came up where, you know, somebody told me, say, yes, you have not gone up to grade 12, but you have got a grade 9 certificate, which results are very good. Maybe you can try out in town, try out some town life, try to seek for employment, maybe you can be employed. So that's how I started off, and that was 2014, somewhere there. Started off like from the village, going to Chongwe. Now there I followed my auntie, the young sister to Mom, so who told me, said, come and apply. So when I went there, my expectation was that I think when I get there, with my good grade 9 results, I'll be able to land myself a very good job. So when I reached there, I started, you know, applying. I remember applying to Zesco, actually just to be, you know, those guys who dig, like those holes where they put the poles.
Yes.
And I was not picked. I applied one instant, you know, that, you know, when I look back, it sounds so funny. I applied at Chongwe Community Radio Station.
Okay.
That time it was just being opened.
Right.
So I applied to be a DJ there. And when I took my application, I remember that time I was a very, you know, religious man. Yeah, very religious man. I took the application, and as I took the application, I prayed about it, I fasted about it, and as if it was now a route to show that things now have begun to happen, I was called for interviews.
At Zesco?
No, Chongwe Community Radio Station.
Okay.
So I went in there. We were about 5 of us who were called for interviews. I was interviewed by these, you know, good-looking a gentleman and a lady. After which they gave me a very, you know, good smile and said, okay, we have heard from you, wait to hear from us. And that's how I left. And after leaving, I remember interacting with some colleagues who we attended interviews with, and I was shocked that out of those 5, I was the only one with a grade 9 certificate. All of those had even qualifications in journalism, like they have gone to university, had gone to colleges, and so I was there like looking. But you know, one thing about me, which you cannot take away from me, is I'm very much confident.
I hear you.
When I want to do something, I will not look at any limiting whatever. I'll just go for it, and believing that when grace speaks, protocol has no voice. So I said, okay, fine, no problem.
When grace speaks,
protocol has no say.
Wow.
Sure. So that's how I went back, and I remember when I just got back in our poor house, and that house, by the way, was where you take care of when somebody's building and they're not yet done, but at least they'll put the roof and what. They want somebody to be taking care of those houses. So that's the kind of house that we're living. So the moment I entered in there, I knelt down, I prayed and said, God, I know you are the one who called me for these interviews, and please, let me just have this. So, to cut the long story short, I didn't get that job. And somehow I felt very devastated after all the prayers that I put in, after all the belief that I put in, but why not getting it? Little did I know that actually maybe God was just preparing me for something better coming. Okay. So, and when reality hit, I came to realize that when I went to the town to seek for employment with the grade 9 results, there were also many other graduates with masters, with the PhDs, with the degrees, with the diplomas, who were also jobless like me. Now you can imagine if even you were to be the employer, here is a confident young man looking for employment with a grade 9 certificate, and here is also somebody with a master's, maybe with even experience somewhere. Who are you going to hire? So it was at that time that when reality hit, I said, I think what I want is survival. So I will not choose to say, okay, I just wanted to be a DJ at a radio station. Let me just do what is available. So I started with manual work, where I started doing, pieceworks like digging foundations, becoming a darker boy or a helper to the bricklayer. And life kept on moving. And it was at that time when I met this man who just loved the way I did his work. And then now started having a conversation with me to say, how about school? How far have you gone? So I told him, no, I dropped out of school because of challenges, but I did well at the 9 level. So he asked for my results. He looked at them and said, okay, let's see what happens in January. Maybe I can be able to sponsor you at school. And to cut the long story short, that's how when January came, he took me to a school, and that was a private school. And it was my first time in my life to have a feel of what it feels to be at a private school. So by the way, I went to a private school. Right. So at that time, after that, of course, there are also some other challenges which I may not be able to go in detail. Because this man, I think he paid for me that was grade 11, term 1, term 2. Then later on, because of family issues, he could not proceed paying for me. So again, life took another turn, because this time, at the time that he took me back to school, I was even living with him in his house. Right. Now I was coming.
That was just a good Samaritan.
A good Samaritan.
Okay.
Sure.
Wow.
Now I was coming from this background where we were staying in a house which is as a caretakers. You don't have power there. All you have is a roof on top of you and the bricks that were used to build this wall. But then now I move into this man's house, which was tiled, ceiling board. There's food all the time. You have food, you can eat. Life felt like nice. But when that time again came, when he couldn't proceed with sponsoring me, I had to go back to the caretaker life. We went back, and at that time I still wanted to drop out of school. But thank God, because I think there were people who were aligned just to come and help me to bring me out of the destiny that was supposed to be. So at the same school that I was, when I explained to them my situation, to say I think I'll not be able to continue because I did not have sponsorship. So they were gracious enough by offering me a job to be a garden boy of the same school. Right. So whereby I would go in the morning, from morning to 16 hours we are learning, from 16 hours to 18 hours. I'm doing the slashing, I'm doing the watering, and I knock off. But that was just to cover my school fees. But in school there are also things like, you need pens, you need books, you need those things. Correct. So what I would do is, I still got back to my old life of those pieceworks of digging foundations and what. So from Monday to Friday, I would go to school in the morning up to 16 hours. 16 hours to 18 hours strictly garden boy duties. I'm watering, doing everything that the school is looking okay. Then weekend, by the way, I was an Adventist. So weekend, Saturday, the whole day, from morning up to sunset, I'm at church. Wow. It was purely church. Sunday, that was the day to hustle and make sure that I provide for myself.
So you had no boring moments, no boring days.
No.
All the days were
fully occupied. Fully occupied.
Wow.
So that is how that situation continued, and I am also grateful for my auntie, the young sister to mom, who also came through to help me even with paying grade 12 school fees, I think for one term, and also for examination fees. And by the grace of God, I think in 2016, I wrote my grade 12. And that's how I reached up to grade 12.
Wow.
Sure, and after that, I went now, like, got into the society, into the real life, where I started looking for a job. And I remember my first job, I worked as a personal assistant to the pastor in the Seventh-day Adventist Church under the Chongwe North Mission District. So there I was just helping with the pastor, helping him manage the churches. When people are bringing in, they want to make appointments, I'm there. And it was a good life. But later on, I think I just worked for 5 months because of certain developments that happened. I couldn't continue by virtue of those developments. That's how I went to start working in hardware, where I was getting, anyway, I can say this.
Please say.
I was getting 800 kwacha as a salary per month. Then
800 kwacha.
800 kwacha. Wow. Then you have 10 kwacha. So for lunch, you can choose either to be getting 10 kwacha a day, or you come with your packed lunch. So if you're getting 10 kwacha per day, it means that 300 kwacha will be gotten from your salary, so that you remain with the 500 kwacha as take home. Yeah, I think at that time I was okay with it. I was working. And I think
you were excited.
I was excited. And at that time, you're working in a hardware. You would not look very dirty, and you are handling the oils, the what. But I was okay with it. I worked about a month. Another opportunity came where there was this man who was opening a new mini-mart right in Chongwe. And I applied there, and I was picked. At least there I was offered something better than where I was coming from. And besides there, you look a bit smart because it's a mini-mart, you are walking, those things. And also there, I think I only worked for about a month or so. By the grace of God, that's when I got employed in the local authority as a firefighter.
Right.
I went to work in Mongu under Mongu Municipal Council, and that was 2017 in October. And then there, I think I saw someone to say, I think now I'm almost there. Now you can imagine a boy from the background that I've mentioned coming to get a salary of about 500 kwacha, 800 kwacha. Then now I get this permanent job, permanent and pensionable job in the council. And you can imagine now the increment in salary.
I hear you.
So from there, I think I was excited. That was the time that I even got my first smartphone. I remember it was a tablet. Right. Because I made sure that everyone needs to know that I now have a smartphone.
Correct.
So that whenever I'm moving, it's not in the pocket, I have it in my...
When answering, you have to make sure that it's visible enough.
Visible enough.
I'm speaking on the phone.
For sure. So life turned more like it to smile at me, like it was a nice experience working. I remember now, that was the first time now I managed to rent a house of my own, which has electricity. So there were times that I would sleep and again wake up at night to just try and see if when I switch off, when I switch on the bulb, it's going to go on. You're just asking yourself, say, is it me? And then, but that joy was not long-lived. Wow. And the reason being, I want to be very much categorical about this.
Please.
The reason being was the mindset. I got a job with good income, but with a mindset of handling 800 kwacha as a monthly salary. So even when you have the excess, because the mindset cannot manage that money, it is going to sense that this is danger. So it is going to make sure that it makes you blow away all that money until it remains where you can handle it.
I hear you.
So now it's a thing where you have got, good income, but your life is not progressing because you are spending the money literally on things that do not really matter. This is why you can have 2 people working at the same job, having the same salary, but then the things that they achieve in life are not the same. Why? Because it's the different mindset. So it was not long, especially at that time, I think that was 2017, 2018, going into 2019. By that time, even councils had been said now, struggling with paying salaries.
Yeah, I remember that.
Before I knew it, we were about 3-4 months salary arrears. And now you are now started swimming in debt.
Oh my God.
But then you have an income. And it was even at that time that, some idea came. So I think I don't just need to depend on the salary. Maybe I need also to start doing, some side hustles and what. And I remember I tried a number of them, but I was not successful. But I think that is also, that all is part of the process. Journey. And that is what has also been able to make who I am today as Keagan.
Quite interesting indeed. Very, elaborate kind of a story. I want to borrow the words of President Hakainde Hichilema. I think he's been very firm on this. I remember when he was in the opposition, he kept on, complaining that, look, there's no way that we can have council workers go for a month, 2 months, or 6 months without getting paid. And yet the councils or the municipalities are making a lot of money. You know that the councils are collecting money every day.
Yes.
Levies. As we speak right now, you and I, just as maybe it's in the night, but they are collecting money every day. If you go to countries, developing countries, which have got a 24/7 economy, even in the night, the municipalities are able to make cash. So
Sure.
I understand when you give that ordeal of you having been one of those council workers at the time who struggled to get paid from 2017 going to, I do not know. I totally understand you. We covered a lot of stories about council workers protesting and stuff like that, striking and stuff like that. So I understand that story very well. Here is Keagan Mulundu, a very, inspirational young man in you who has struggled your way from childhood up to the level where you are today, up to the level where you became a council employee. Who are you today? You are not a council worker anymore.
Yes.
What happened? Were you fired? Did you quit job? What transpired?
Okay, wow, that's a very interesting question. So I am not a council employee. I resigned from council employment last year in November.
You resigned?
Yes, I resigned. I was not fired, by the way. And I must also mention that in my 8 years journey of the council service, I think I was one of the disciplined employees. Right. If we get to my files, I think it's not dented. I was never charged at any point. I always was making sure that I do the right thing. And I resigned last year in November. So now,
quitting job? Hold on there. I mean, you must be a courageous man. Quitting job is not easy.
Of course, it's not easy. Yeah. I remember the time that I made that decision. Yeah. I went to my supervisor, where I think I had already written the letter to say, no, I think I'm ready to quit the job. And I remember my supervisor saying, no. Are you sure? Are you sure of this decision? Yeah. Have you found something better than this? Or like, what is it?
Yes.
Is it because the environment here is not good for you? Or And at that time, I'm sure maybe I can understand him very well, because at that time, I was just about 6 to 8 months from the time I got transferred to come and work here in Lusaka, under Lusaka City Council. Wow. So now he asked me, maybe young man, we give you 30 days leave, so that you just go and reflect.
Introspect about
introspect.
Process.
Maybe you are making this decision out of emotions. Maybe when the emotions is settled, you'll be able to.
Or maybe you didn't want to be transferred. There are all those stories that sometimes will pop up.
No, not really. So I told him, say, no, I think this, the 30 days, I appreciate that offer. Right. But I think this decision came from deep reflection. I think it did not just come today. It's something that I've been working on. It's something that I have had for some time. And I think this is just the right time for me now to leave. So now I must mention that at that time, maybe the expectation of everyone or anyone else there who hears me speak this way, I know there are others, even on the viewers, who think to say, maybe, he's too confident for nothing. Yeah. No, he's going to regret his decision. Correct. Like those things. Yeah. But one thing I'll mention is when I quit the job, it's not like I became very rich to the point that I never needed that salary. No. But it is a thing whereby I developed a rich mindset. A rich mindset that told me to say, I think at this time you have to pursue your passion. You have to really live for something that, brings, fulfillment in you. Now, let me be able to be quick to mention that the firefighting job that I had, by the way, I'm not saying that it's not good to be a firefighter. Please get me right, the viewers there. It's very much good. And in my 8 years journey, I think I enjoyed my duty. It's about life saving. You save lives. In fact, as a matter of fact, during that time, as firefighters, you go where people are running from because there is danger. That's where you go.
Correct.
A building has caught fire. You are going there to assist. People are involved in an accident. You are going there to assist. And I remember one of my experiences that was in Ndola. I was working at Ndola City Council. There's this accident that we turned out to. We were called. That was around 00 to 01. To say there's an accident that has occurred. That was along Ndola Kapini Road. People were going to. They were taking some, watermelons to Kasumbalesa. And then now being at night, driving at night. By the way, this which I'm giving is not an official report of what happened, but I'm just trying to narrate it for the viewers there to understand what really happened. So as we went there, we found that the accident was so terrible. So now there was this man who, because when the vehicles hit each other, like the legs were, trapped. So like outside, you can hear him speak. He's crying for help. Please help, please help, please help. And his legs have actually been more like grinded. Like,
oh my God.
So now you go there, you are listening. These people are crying for help, and they are looking at you as their hope. So now as you start to, execute your duties, it's not just about you are doing it for a salary. Right. You are doing it also to save, to help somebody who's in need. So that is one thing that I love about firefighting. It is not just about an income, but it's also about the impact that you make in people's lives. There are times that you go there to save, like people are in an accident, you work very fast, they are rushed to the hospital, and instead of dying, they are saved. They will still be able to remember to say, at least that fire brigade or those people that came, they helped us. So that is a good thing. I love and appreciate about that. But then for me, I never dreamed to be a firefighter. As a matter of fact, when I applied at that time, it was a time like I'm out of school, I'm looking for what to do, and somebody, my neighbor, then approached me to say, I see you have got good results, and I've heard it's like at our job they are employing. Maybe try, maybe you can be able to do what, to start from there. And I love his words because he was very much categorical. He said, maybe it may not be your passion, but you can start from there so that it pushes you towards your passion. And that's how I started. So for me, when I went there, in the first place, before I even came to understand what really firefighting was about, I was motivated by the fact that I'll be paid. After I do something, I'll be paid.
Exactly.
So even throughout my journey, I was living so that I can be able to make a living. Or I was fighting the fire so that I can be able to make a living.
So it's about, you have to attach the passion to it. It's not about just doing it for a salary, but you need to be passionate.
Exactly.
I hear you.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it is that realization, especially when I came to this, full awareness of who Keagan is, of what I am built to be, and the specific problem that God sent me to this planet to come and solve. That's when I said, I think maybe by me having to be, in employment, maybe this is going to hinder me from my purpose. Usually when you're in employment, there are certain things about, there are do's and don'ts.
Yes. You are limited.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's that limitation that I was trying to uncover or remove from me so that I can be able to fully be what I am destined to be.
Wow.
Sure.
Which is a businessman.
Which is
an entrepreneur.
Which is a businessman and and a speaker and an author. Sure.
At what point did you, after of course you resigned your former employment at the council, at what point now did you venture into book writing, public speaking, business, as it were? Okay, so a very good question, but I want to give context to that question so that the viewers out there can be able to understand something. So in terms of business, like I've mentioned, 2019, when the council decided, struggling with salaries, I think somehow it also came as a wake-up call, where I said, I think I don't just need to live with one income. Maybe I need to expand my income, and what. Right. And I remember at that time, one of the persons that inspired me was Mr. Dumisani, the radical entrepreneur. Right. At that time, there's this video that I watched.
In that video, he was talking about a frog. He was saying, you know, when you put a frog in boiling water, or you put a frog in water, then you start heating that water. What will happen is that as the water's temperature keeps increasing, the frog will start adjusting its temperature to match with the heat. So it will start adjusting and adjusting and adjusting until it reaches a point where it can no longer adjust. And in the end, it will die. Then he asks a question to say, now when the frog dies, what do you think killed the frog? Is it the boiling water, or is it its inability to sense danger and get out of danger while it still has the energy?
Hey.
So in that question, I think the answer, you and I can agree.
Correct.
To say the answer is, it's the frog's inability to sense that there's danger. Let me get out of this danger before my energy is done.
Decisiveness.
Sure. So in other words, what he was trying to say is, in most cases, when people are in employment, you'll find that when you give them a salary increment, they also adjust their expenses.
Right.
Somebody who was earning a 3,000, living maybe in a place, let's say Chazanga. By the way, this is not to say maybe I'm trying to belittle people from Chazanga, but I'm just trying to give an example. They are earning 3,000, they are living in a place maybe called the Chazanga. They are using a bus to go to make their movements. Then promote them, give them a salary of 20,000. What will happen is that they will adjust. Now they will shift from maybe there to maybe Rhodes Park to Ibex, where now they'll be paying rent of maybe 15,000 a month. This time now they cannot move in a bus. They will start, booking taxis and, food. If they were eating food at home, they will even now start going to hotels, and that's why they want to eat from.
That's powerful.
So what this means that they are adjusting so that they can spend whatever they are getting. But this, in the long run, has got any bearing benefit to it.
The main aim and the ultimate goal is to spend the whole money.
The whole money.
I see.
So you see, then now this man who is now living in Ibex today is fired. What happens? Now you have to get back to the very bottom. Why? Because during this time, he was spending all his earnings. So you have to start from the very bottom. And this is what he was also saying, to say, for example, even in business, people tend to go in business after they retire. By that time, even their energy is done. They cannot, handle stress. They cannot handle rejection. And when they get their pension money, they invest in the business. And when that business, incurs a loss, they also die out of depletion because they cannot handle that. Wow. But then there must be a process to learning this thing. While else you still have energy. Don't be like a frog, according to that video. So that video really touched me and kept me up for good days. Right. And I said, I think I need to use my prime time, my prime energy, to be able to build on something that is going to help me even when I grow old. So it's at that time that I started business, and I must be quick also to mention that I didn't just start business and then it was, shaping up.
Correct.
I failed in many businesses. Okay. I remember first business that I did was I ordered some kittens from Nakonde, started selling to my workmates right there in Mongo. It never went anywhere. I made losses. Right. Then there was this company that I partnered with, which deals in herbs. Then I also got some at quantum resonance analyzer, that testing machine where you hold it with your palm, then it is able to scan your body and give you results. So I remember that time I did a lot of research in the health issues, where I would scan people, prescribe and what. Even that didn't go anywhere. Then later on, I started up. Now, that was my defining moment. Okay. I started network marketing business. Now, I know there's a lot of misconception out there about network marketing. Because what people know about network marketing is just, this is a thing where more like pyramid schemes. You start a business, bring in people, you are selling products and what. But for me, that acted more like a university training towards my business development. Okay. Because from that time when I started, it was exciting. I remember the presentation when I went there, we were told, there's good money and what. And because at that time now, I was hungry for money. You are not getting paid council salary and what. So I went there and then I started learning. The good part about network marketing is that there are many trainings. the trainings that are meant to shape you as a businessman, the trainings that are meant to help you grow personally. And that is the time that I even developed the interest of reading books that are meant to build me. Before, I was reading books, but in most cases, I was an Adventist, like I've mentioned, but I was so very much into church literature. I would read books like Ellen White, study guides and those things. So it is at that time when I also read the book authored by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Nice.
I read that book. I read many other books by Robert Kiyosaki, Poor Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, like those books. And they just opened me to the business mind. Now, I must also be quick to mention that when I started out first in my network marketing journey, I didn't make it.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. But one thing that I love about is the person that came out of this network marketing thing.
Right.
So I developed skills that really helped me, the sales skills, how to handle rejection. These are things that most people lack when you talk about business. Because in any business, there's going to be rejection. For example, if I come to you and I'm trying to sell my book to you, then you don't buy it. That's a rejection. How do I handle that? Do I get emotional? Do I think I'm bad?
I hear you.
I'm not good enough. That is why you can't buy my book.
Is my book not attractive enough?
That's the thing.
I see.
So I learned how to navigate through all those things. I learned how to network, how to meet people for the purpose. And that is now that was the build up to what I am now. So when I first failed at my network marketing project, what I did was, now I had these skills, like for example, the sales skill. But then I do not have what I can sell so that I make money. But then I realized, but I think there are people out there who are looking for cars and they can't find it. And they have the money, but they can't find the car to buy. And there are also people who have cars, but they don't have buyers. How about I start linking them? And in the end, I make some money for me. So I started doing that, I started selling cars, advertising cars on commission, where I came like a sales agent.
Right.
So I did that, I think, for a good 3 to 4 years, where I would just sell cars on commission. And I must also mention that it was not an easy thing. There are times that you meet this one selling a car, and they tell you to say, okay, my car is going at 70,000. If you sell it at any price more than 70, the money on top is yours.
Wow.
And you sell it, he changes his mind. No. You can't get the whole 10,000.
Oh my God.
You get a 2.5 instead.
Oh.
There have been those instances.
Wow.
There have been situations whereby you sell a car and this person doesn't even pay you. They just know, problems, became what? But all in all,
they want to have everything
to themselves. And a thing whereby you don't even sign a contract as you are starting.
Yeah.
So it's even hard, like there's nothing that you can do. But it's through that, like where I got, to have this interest in cars. And because for me, generally, despite coming from the village, despite coming from a poor background, I love good life.
Right.
The life of driving,
Yes.
Nice cars
Yes.
and what. And I realized my passion is also in that.
Right.
So that is where now we started, I developed this vision and this goal to say, I think I'm going to own a car dealing company. And this car dealing company is going to be offering services like the executive taxi services for people who cannot manage to buy their own, but they want to use a taxi. It's going to be offering the car hiring component, where for people who may not own their car, but they also want to just drive themselves and move at their own convenience. Then it is also going to be offering the buying and reselling of cars, that is importing. Then it's also going to have, a mechanical workshop, whereby for those customers we sell cars to, they can be able to bring their cars so that we service them and give them genuine spare parts. And that's how this idea was born. And you must believe me that at that time that this idea was born, I didn't have any single coin which I can put up as a capital. But I believed in this vision, I believed in this idea and said, it is going to come into a reality. And right now, as we speak, we have this company, which is in operation. While we have not yet fully implemented all the plans as intended from the start. But at least there's direction. We can see where we are going to say, from an idea that started without capital to where we are, it means we've moved a great amount. We've made a lot of success. And I believe where we are going is nearer than where we are coming from.
That's quite interesting there, Keagan. Of course, you are watching My Life Experience with IP right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. I have an entrepreneur and also an author, but of course a public speaker in Keagan Mulundu. Let's now look at some of the books you've written. Away from the business aspect, we'll look at some of the books you've written so far in the few years you've been an author. Yeah.
So my first book is titled The Lie of Hard Work.
The Lie of Hard Work.
Yes, The Lie of Hard Work. You know. Yes, the lie. Yes, boza.
Ukunama.
Yes.
Of hard work.
Of hard work.
Wow.
You know, this book, I think, stems from part of the story that I've shared.
Okay.
So in this book, I just explore, the importance of connections, privileges, and real success in life. You know, where, for example, I've seen many people who are very hardworking, even in this, in the corporate world.
Yeah.
They are working, they are very hardworking, but then they've not listened so much, and you would wonder, but why? So I came to realize that actually in the success equation, there is also the component of connections, which is the thing that most people do not, admit.
Okay.
For example, I've taught you
Right.
in fact, I've mentioned from where we started from to say, even for me to get back to school, there was this man who came in to help.
Yes, correct.
And I also must be quick to mention also that even for me to get employment, it was not because I had the best results. I mean, no. It was not because I was the most vulnerable. No. It was not because I was the most smart. Very far from that. But it had to take somebody to actually connect me to something or to someone who knew someone who could do that.
Correct. So it's about networking.
It's about
connection.
Connection.
I hear you.
So most people, especially successful people, when you ask them, how did you make it? They will tell you, I was hardworking, I was what? But I mean,
how?
It's not about, that's not the only thing.
I hear you.
It must also need to take somebody who's going to speak your name in rooms where decisions are made.
And you're not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is that realization that made me to pen this book, which is just talking about the importance of connections.
Right.
For example, I'll take you back to the Bible.
Yeah.
Joseph was highly talented and blessed by God, such that he could interpret dreams. He found himself in prison, where he interpreted the dream of somebody who was arrested and put in prison, who comes from the king's palace. Now, when he was released, Joseph's breakthrough didn't come through, not until that person spoke his name in the palace.
Right.
And that's why Joseph became to be a prime minister.
I hear you.
Now, imagine without that person in the equation, Joseph would have remained in the what? In the prison. So even in everything that you are doing, be it in business, be it in the corporate world, you must also be able to learn how to grow mutual relationships. You must learn to know how to connect intentionally and network. So that is what this book is about. Just trying to say that hard work alone without strategies, which includes networking, is not enough.
Hard work alone without strategies plus networking
is not
equal
enough.
to nothing.
Sure.
Wow. You have to be strategic.
For sure, you really have to
have the network. You have to have the connections.
Yes.
For you to get to the top mountain.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So that is the first book.
Correct.
And the second book, by the way, I've only authored 2 books so far.
Okay.
The second book is titled Cursed by Belief. Now, I don't know.
That's another strong title there.
No, so I think you edit this. Let me just go for
Do that. We're looking at the 2 books that have been written by Keagan Mulundu. That's a young man who is my guest on the program. So the first book is entitled The Lie of Hard Work. The Lie of Hard Work. That's the first book he authored. And according to him, he explains to me and you watching the program that you have to incorporate a lot of factors around. You need to work hard, but also have the network that can take you somewhere. You need to have the connections which will be able to speak for you in your absentia. Even when you're not there, the people will be able to recommend your name. So I think Mulundu or Keagan is the right person for this job. Those they become your ambassadors. That's what I'm picking from this book. But also it goes further to unveil another name of the book that is yet to launch in the next few days from now, which is entitled Cursed by Beliefs. I want to hear more on that. Cursed by Beliefs. Let's get to that, Keagan. Cursed by Beliefs.
Yes.
What do we mean here?
Well, I know it's really an interesting title. So, by the way, the subtitle is The Invisible War Between Thought and Destiny. So, Cursed by Belief is a book that is born out of my own experience.
Right.
So, I'm trying to share this story to the world of what really transpired in me and to me. And I'm trying also to bring out the lessons that I can pick from there, that I feel that at least they can help somebody or someone out there who might find themselves in the situation that I was in.
Right.
So this book is just talking about some of the limiting beliefs that we find ourselves maybe embracing. Now, this book stems from a story of what happened to me. And I think this must have happened between 2021 and 2020, towards the end of 2024. That's a good 3 years period.
Okay.
Now, this started with, I met a man of God. And by the way, let me put a disclaimer. This book is not an attack on faith. No. It's not an attack on religion. It promotes religion, but it promotes responsible religion. It promotes a faith that has works. Remember, the Bible says faith without works is what?
It's nothing.
Is dead.
Yes, it's nothing.
So this is what the book is about.
So
now,
men of God, let us now listen attentively. Let's listen to this story keenly. Cursed by Beliefs. You met a certain man of God.
Yes.
What happened?
So this man of God, gave me a prophecy or a revelation, I'll call it.
Okay.
So he actually told me some things about my life, of which some of them happened in the past.
Okay.
And it so happened that those things were true that he mentioned that happened in the past. But then he also told me, so that, you know what, young man, when I look at you, I see greatness. Okay. You are very great and very hardworking.
Interesting.
But then you have not amounted to anything great this far, because there is one of your relatives from your father's side who has actually bewitched you. So he has bewitched you such that he's more like tied your destiny and put it more like in a bottle. So out of your effort, it's actually him benefiting. And what he's also done is that he's put more like satellite, on you, where he's able to watch and see whatever that you are doing. So whenever you are trying to close a deal that is supposed to make you maybe go to another level, he makes sure that deal does not go through. So, and at that time, by the way, I didn't mention also the other part to say, I also worked in as a sales agent for Salo Agro Industries, where they sell farming inputs and tractors, where I was selling tractors on commission.
Right.
And it was a good income, I should mention, because I was getting something like a 2% per tractor. Right. And their tractors, I think, is somewhere like 500, going up. So just one tractor, if you sell, you cross that deal, you get about 10,000 or above. Beautiful. And that was good money. Beautiful. And there was this time when I engaged, like in the same sales, I had gotten about 10 customers who are willing to purchase, 10 tractors. Right. And those 10 tractors, I think my commission, when I had calculated, it was going to somewhere above 200,000. That was to be my commission. Interesting. And at that time, I really had put my hope and said, I think now, finally, this is a breakthrough. Tabulo. But then that deal It didn't go through. Not all of them, not all the 10 bought the tractors. Only one out of the 10. And now you can imagine from an expectation of a 200 plus to only something mere like 16,000. Then I felt very devastated. So now when this man of God was telling me to say, you are hardworking. The reason why things don't happen is because somebody has done something. Now it made sense to me.
And that's I hear that someone is from your family.
Someone is from my family, from my father's side. Actually.
So you were able now to connect.
To connect. Oh.
From that deal which failed.
To what this man of God is.
And what is being prophesied about me. Oh my God.
And I remember even in my mind, I even had the name of that somebody who did that. I said, now it must be that one. There is no one here. It must be.
You had the suspect already?
A suspect already in my mind. I said, no, okay. So now, to cut the long story short, I believed him. So I asked him, say, man of God, I get you. So what is the solution? Okay. He tells me, say, you know what? I need to pray for you. Okay. So that I break forth those cases, those things that they have put on your life and release you. Then I also need to come to your house, just put some anointing around your house so that it is protected. They can't bring in some more stuffs. I said, okay, please, let's go ahead. So he prayed for me, came home, we did. So now you must understand that before this incident, remember there were things that I was doing. Some were succeeding, some were not, just like I have shared from the beginning. But now my expectation was after this, because this man is telling me to say, no, what you were seeing to be normal is not normal. Somebody has done something. So now my expectation was that now after he releases me, it means that maybe in 3-4 months I'll get myself a Vitz. At least if I don't get a Land Cruiser. Because the chains have been broken. I mean, I'm free. So now I can go as high as I can. The sky is not the limit. I think I convinced myself.
Wow.
But time went by. No visible results could show that now I'm truly released. So I said to myself and convinced myself, I think one thing I've come to learn is that people are gifted different. There are those who are gifted only to see, like they can get revelations. But to set you free, they do not have that gift.
Grace.
Yeah, that grace is. So I said, maybe I need to find another man of God with more grace in order to release me.
Okay.
So now I started...
Because I've been taught what the problem is about me.
But the only thing remaining is the solution.
Okay.
The solution.
So I need to look for another
man of God.
Prayer warrior.
Yes.
Or man of God to take away the burden, the chain.
That's the thing. So now I started moving now from one man of God to the other. Looking for the solution. To say, they should set me free. Okay. To cut the long story short, the solution didn't come through. By the way, I went to many, even famous ones that you know, name them. But of course, I will not be able to mention. Yeah, but I'm just saying that I went to different men of God, but no solution came through. Then now
Here in Lusaka?
Here in Lusaka.
Okay.
And outside Lusaka. Then now I came to another realization to say, I think, us we are Africans. These prayers thing came in later. But our forefathers, grew up with there were things that they could do and, those things and succeed. Maybe I should turn it to me, you now.
Wow.
So now,
Bachi boy.
Bachi boy.
The real herbs.
The real herbs.
African medicine.
Yes, African medicine. So now I said now moving again now from one witch doctor to the other. And now what is interesting is this. Each man of God that I went to told me the same thing.
Okay.
Each witch doctor that I went to told me the same thing. Okay. From your father's side. Okay. They have done this. Okay. And there was even another one who even went an extra mile, this witch doctor, by the way, who told me to say, actually, the people that did this, one thing that they don't want to see is you to be a responsible man, is you to be, a man who is successful. As a matter of fact, they've been trying so hard to get you, maybe even start drinking alcohol, so that you can destroy your life from there. By the way, again, this is a disclaimer. It's not to say that those who drink alcohol have destroyed their lives, no. But I'm just trying to say what this witch doctor told me. To say, so now, when they saw that could not work out, they've also given you some lucky, whereby when you want to borrow money from anyone, even when they do not have, they will have to get somewhere and borrow you, so that you get in more debt which you cannot manage to pay back.
That was too deep, huh?
It was too deep, and I remember that time I went with my friend. And the moment he mentioned that witch doctor, my friend even agreed to say, yes, you are right. This man, whenever he asks for money from people, they give him.
Wow.
And I was just there seated to say, no, I think this is deep.
He has the grace of borrowing.
The grace of borrowing.
Accumulating debt.
Over accumulating debt. So that's how I asked him, oh, please give me the solution now. He gave me those things that he thought he would help. I remember he even gave me some stuff to say, whenever you're talking to someone, be chewing in the mouth. And that is going to make sure that they do whatever you tell them to. It is going to be the doers, I say.
Wow.
Now, despite that being the case,
what a story.
Still nothing happened. Still nothing moved. I became desperate to the point that I could do as much as was at my disposal just to try and look for the solution, but nothing happened. But here's an interesting part. To every man of God that I went to every witch doctor that I went to, they all demanded for a payment. To this one, who is seeking for a solution, is broke looking for a solution, they want a payment. So now, this made me to sink even deeper now in debt. So because for me, my calculation is it's better I borrow, pay, find a solution. Then now from the results, I can be able to pay back from where I'm borrowing.
So they kept on demanding for money from a person who is already captured, you know. I hear you.
Exactly.
A person whom they have told that you are cursed by this person in your family
Your family member.
Wow, I hear you.
So by late 2021, 2022, 2023, trust me, I was in high debt. Such that my debt, just to manage it, not for it to finish. You know, because I was getting from different institutions, you know, banks, you know, Shylocks, those with high interest rates like 50% per month and what. So now for me at that time...
You want to unchain yourself? You want to free yourself?
Just to free myself.
I hear you.
For me at that time, I think I needed about maybe 15,000 roughly every month just to be paying the interest so that the loan does not grow. Against the income of something less than even 5,000. And at that time, I remember I even started contemplating on maybe I should just commit suicide because there is no way out here. You know, a situation whereby when month end comes, you are getting your salaries. Instead of you being happy that your money is coming, you start worrying now because calls will start coming. You said you are going to pay this month end. Please, may I have my money? You said at least you are going to pay something. How much are you paying this time? And
it's month end already.
And it's month end.
They're waiting for you.
They are waiting for you.
Oh my God.
It calls from, anyway, sorry to mention this, calls from institutions like Zamkash. You know how those people, I don't know if they're still there, they're still calling. I don't know.
They can be.
Anyway, I don't know if you have one idea how much they used to call.
No, I have one idea. Just hold on your thought. Don't forget that. I have a testimony. I think one of my relatives, I will not mention the name, I don't know how he went to get money from them, Zamkash, and then, I don't know, I wasn't even consulted by my uncle that he was going to borrow money from them, so it's like he used my name as a surety. It must have been some 2 years ago, I think 2 years or one year ago. Yeah, so I started receiving some calls from them, you know. Are you Mr. IP? I said, yes. They even mentioned the company I work for. I said, yes, I am. Okay. Do you know Mr. So-and-so? Who is your uncle? I said, yes, I know him. Okay, so you got some money here and he told that you are the one who's supposed to pay on his behalf. Like, what's going on here? You know, and they kept on calling. But eventually, because according to them, they said, no, your uncle, we have been calling him, he's not picking calls and stuff like that. So I had to bite the bullet. I said, okay, let me just clear this on his behalf. I never called my uncle. Until to date, I've never called him to find out. So I know the story.
For sure.
Yeah. So like, but I hope also, let me also put a disclaimer that we're not trying to destroy their business because I know they're also into business.
Sure.
So all we are saying is that it's a personal and the real and the realistic experiences we've had about your institution. Maybe those are your only rules. We can't made or into those rules. They are yours.
And by the way, to just add on the disclaimer, I think for me, personally, from where I stand right now, I like what Zamkash does. They are just serious with business. I mean, that's business.
Yes,
when you give money to someone, they're supposed to pay back so that you make money. So if they're not paying back, they're holding on to your profit and your capital.
That's a fact.
So I think credit to you, Zamkash. I think you are doing a great
Follow
job.
them.
If you are still doing that, please do it, because that's the growth of the business.
Correct.
So now I'm just trying to say, you can imagine now the calls that I used to receive. Because those guys could call maybe 100 times in it, even when you are not picking. And when you pick, sometimes they talk to you in a respectful way. Yes. Sometimes they would even go as disrespecting you, so to say. Like, in fact, what kind of a man are you? so you're even a man who has a family where people respect you as a provider, who can't reason and act reasonably. And there's nothing you can do. The Bible says a borrower is a slave to the lender.
Correct.
So you understand, yes, you took their money, but at that time, you don't just have. So what do you do? So I contemplated to say, I think I just need to take my life. But then, as I went on, and now I also want to let you know that during this period, 3 years period, when I had, believed that, I was bewitched. Remember, before, some things could move, some things could not. Yes. But now, during that time...
Which, for you, it's normal.
It's normal.
Yes.
But I was like, no, it's not normal.
I hear you.
But now, from the time I believed that, things even stopped moving. Now, you can imagine in a period of 3 years, I advertised things and none of them was bought. Why? Because when I was advertising, I went in there as a victim. So I was just saying, let me just try to see if at all this one will be bought. And because I was already convinced, they never happened. I remember for those ones where maybe a sale could have been made, the people ended up not paying me my commission. So, and I said, I think these people are very much powerful. They are achieving their goal. Nothing is moving. So it was not until when I attended some church service, I think this man of God, gave a very powerful sermon. This is why I say the book is not an attack on religion. Right. It's not an attack on men of God, but I'm just trying to share the experience of what happened. So now this man, based his sermon from the story of that woman who had the blood issue in the Bible, who had suffered for 12 years. And according to the Bible, it says that she spent all she had on physicians trying to find the solution, but she couldn't find. Until a day that she met Jesus and touched his garment. That was the same day, according to the Bible. At that particular moment, that's when the issue was solved and done for good. So according to this man of God, he was saying sometimes you can struggle for some time, and it takes only one day, and all your issues are solved. So it was at that time that I said, having honest conversations within myself. And said self-introspection, trying to know myself, who really am I? What really am I able to do? How talented am I? One thing that I shared is that this witch doctor told me that you can convince people to give you money so that you get into problems. Now, it was at this time when I was having a self-introspection within myself that I said, I think maybe if I have to look at the talents or the gifts that God gave me, is one where I have this persuasive thing in me, where I can manage to convince someone at all costs to do what I want them to do for me. What about maybe if I were to use this just to advance maybe my sales skills and what? Would it not work to my advantage? Then I look at the case where he talked about to say, no, all the money that you are making, the reason why you find yourself in debt is, for example, today you can have money, tomorrow you don't have money. It's because that money is flying to go to them, they're the one using that money. I looked at myself to say, am I financially disciplined? And that realization, brought out some, real stories and real reflections within me and said, I think I need financial discipline. There are little things that I need to change about how I handle finances. Right. Because, one thing you have to understand about finances is that if, I think it was Dr. Rogers Yatambo who posted something on his Facebook where he says, man, as entrepreneurs, if you are going to be dishing out money to every sad story you hear, you are going to end up with the next sad story. What does that mean? It means that in as much as even helping itself, it needs to have limits. Jesus Christ said you are going to have the poor even up to the end. That's the reality.
Right.
So no matter how generous you can be, you're not going to solve this problem of poverty. Because the poor are going to be there up to the end. So you don't really have to stress yourself or to suffocate yourself in order to help.
I hear you.
Help where you can, and where you cannot, respectfully decline. Maybe somebody else is going to help.
I hear you.
But then you look at my spending habits, I think were those moved by emotions,
Right.
excitement. Because I have shipwe. We will have another, those kind of
At
things.
times you look back where you're coming from, you say, I suffered and I wouldn't want to see someone suffering. Let me help.
Let me help.
I hear you.
You know that.
Yeah.
So it is these conversations and that which made me to start now slowly working on my mindset, transforming my mindset. And it was until this time that when I even came to understand what the Apostle Paul meant in Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20. The Bible says, and I quote, of course not word by word,
Yes.
but the whole point, or paraphrasing. It says, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask, think, or imagine, according to the power which worketh within us. Now, what this text is telling us is that Paul is saying, him who is being mentioned here is Christ Jesus, is God himself. He's saying God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, far beyond all we can ever think, ask, or imagine. Now, I started asking myself questions to say, do I think I can be rich? I answered myself, say, yes, I do. Now, the Bible here is telling me that this God is able to do above what I think, ask, or imagine. So it means him, he can even do more than this. And then he says, this is going to do, not through men of God, not through witch doctors, but according to the power working within us or within me.
Myself.
So meaning I already have this power in me, which can allow me to do exceedingly abundantly far beyond what I can ask, think, or imagine. So if I imagine to say this is big, to God it's not big.
I hear.
It's just a fraction.
Fantastic.
So I said now building this mindset where I said, I think I am going to believe in this power.
Right.
Because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it is now from that mindset that I started now to see things change. I talked about the business that I established from without capital.
Yeah.
So what changed now? By the way, the man that I had in my mind thinking that he bewitched me, even now he's still alive. So even now I'm doing whatever I'm doing, but he's alive. So, but what has changed?
The man whom you were told
Who was a suspect?
is a suspect.
Yes.
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
I hear you.
Maybe you even watch this. But so now what has changed now? What has changed is the belief. It is what I believe about myself. So this is where now this book comes in, cased by beliefs, where we're saying there's an invisible war between thought and destiny.
Fantastic.
So thought is going to determine how the destiny is going to be. So you shape your reality by the state of what you have in the mind. So I explore a lot of subjects in the book, including leadership. Because there are people who believe leadership is for some certain kind of people.
Yeah.
Because of their background, they cannot be leaders. Whatever limitation that they can have. I also tend to approach that. And also looking at the bigger context of Africa, to say Africa does not lack resources.
Right.
But what it lacks is the mindset that is enough to fuel our potential, our ability to move to the next level.
Let's talk about the mindset change, mindset transformation as we count down to the program. I know that we'll be closing in the next few minutes from now. Let's spend at least maybe 10 minutes. We talk about mindset transformation. I know that this book will be officially launched next week on Saturday, yes. Sure. There are big people who are coming through to be part and parcel. Let's talk about mindset transformation in Africa and in Zambia. How can we make Zambia a sustainable or a successful nation via the mindset transformation?
That is a good one. It's a good question. I think for me, especially having had this experience that I had, I am so passionate about mindset transformation because I have seen what mindset transformation can do. I have seen what a mindset that believes that it is case or that believes wrongly can actually end up doing.
From the way you thought.
From the way I thought.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I just told you to say I was even contemplating on committing suicide.
Correct. Correct. Just hold on a bit. Can take some water. All right. So we are in the dying minutes of the program, and of course, my guest on the program is a young entrepreneur who is a book author, but also a leader in the business circles. His name is Keagan Mulundu. Of course, on my life experience with IP. We are in the dying minutes of the program. Remember, in case you've just joined us, we are found on DSTV channel 279, GoTV channel 27, and also Topside Decoder channel 102. You are a testimony, Keagan, of a person who first of all had some naivety in your mind, in your thinking. You had a lot of people that were suspects, in your life.
Sure.
You toured or visited a lot of places, talking about some men of God or prophets, as it were. You also went to meet the witch doctors or traditional healers, as it were, so that you can be, unchained.
Yes.
Here you are, talking about mindset transformation. The people whom you are told that they were suspects, they are people who bewitched you, who had captured your destiny. They are still around, but you have somehow succeeded. You are somehow succeeding day by day. You are almost launching a book which is entitled Cursed by Belief. Let's talk about mindset transformation one more time.
Sure. So, like I started to say, I think I mentioned on the issue, for example,
Correct,
that I talked about to say I left employment. And I also mentioned to say I did not leave employment because I gathered enough to myself that is able to, sustain me up to the time that I'm going to die.
Yep.
No, but I left the employment because I developed a mindset that could no longer be held or that can be able to thrive in the employment sector. And I chose to live by purpose and not just to survive. Fantastic. I understand the route I took is a risky one. It is one which is uncertain because of course. But for me, I think living my purpose, going by my conviction, is better than being stable but being stagnant somehow. So mindset transformation. I also mentioned that I have seen like what a mindset with long beliefs can be able to do to a person, where I was also sharing to say I almost wanted to commit suicide. And those long beliefs could have made me lose my life prematurely. Correct. I just want to imagine if I committed suicide then, who was going to feature today on this program? Who was going to share this as I'm sharing now?
No one.
No one.
Yeah.
But what could have led...
If I was going to feature someone else, it was going to be a different story. Not this actual or specific story.
Exactly.
Yes.
And my understanding is that each one who came to this world came with their own unique assignment.
Fantastic.
Because the way I have experienced life is not the way another person is going to. There might be some similarities, but it's not exactly that way. So if my assignment is not done, then it means that the benefits that people are supposed to get from my assignment, that benefit is going to be lost. And excuse me, what I get inspired usually by what Les Brown, said.
Yeah.
He said something also that kept me up, I think for quite 1-2 weeks. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have their family members standing with them as they maybe cross over as they die. But now imagine if you are going to be lying on your deathbed and standing around you are your goals, dreams, ideas given to you by life, and you, for whatever reason, you never did anything with those goals. You never did anything with those ideas. And there they are, standing around your bed and looking at you with large, angry eyes, telling you that we came to this world because of you. And only you could have given us life. But now we must die with you forever. Now imagine such a situation.
Yeah.
And Dr. Miles Monroe also says, The richest place in this world is not in South America, where they are the diamonds. It's not in the Middle East, where they are the oils. It's not in South Africa, where the gold mines. The richest place in this world is a cemetery, because there you will see companies that were never started, ideas that were never actualized, books that were never written. They are lying there. But now I came to realize to say, in order to live your purpose, in order to fit in your God-given purpose, you need to have the right mindset with the right beliefs. For example, I've told you the issue of me leaving employment. Yeah. Right now, as we speak, Africa, or let's say Zambia, is struggling with high levels of unemployment.
Correct.
We understand, for example, the new Donor administration employed 30,000 teachers at once.
Correct.
In fact, more than 30,000.
Up
to now, we are counting
40,
maybe
50.
over 40,000. Yeah. But have teachers been all employed? No. There are a lot, and they're still seeking for employment.
They're the majority, actually.
That's the thing.
Seeking for employment.
But how about we have a renewed and transformed mindset, where instead of us depending on the employment, we become actually the job creators, so that we lessen the burden on the government to be able to employ all the citizens. Because it's not just real that the government will manage to employ everyone. That's just the truth. And if
no government has ever managed to do that,
that's the thing.
Yes.
And if at all we renew the mindset, it means that even the way we do things is going to be different. I'll give you an example. By the way, let me also make another disclaimer. Please. This book is not political in any way. Yeah. But it is talking about the collective responsibility of mindset transformation towards national and continental development.
Fantastic.
Now, I want to give you an example. For example, politics. The way politics is being done, I don't feel to say that is what, as a society, we're supposed to be doing it. Right. For example, right now, as we go towards the elections, I'm going to talk about, for example, the parliamentary elections. Yes. As we go towards the elections, you're going to see most people, going to constituencies, doing this and that, just in order to, to get the votes. Yes. And when they get the votes, they even leave. Now we have moved now, or we are a country where, even when it comes to making decisions that are so far reaching to us as a nation, we tend to look at or judge those decisions based on instant gratification. Yeah. Who gives a lot of handouts is the one we're going to vote for. Who gives, who is so flexible and whatever way we can call it, without judging the person's abilities, their vision, and the plan that they have for our country. For example, today you have many aspiring member of parliaments, for example, making donations, building this and that. But now you understand to say the collective responsibility of an MP. You need also to understand to say, what are the duties? Does that person, when you vote them in power, will they be able to be still doing those things out of their money, or it's supposed to be the government money that is supposed to be channeled to the development of the citizens? So it's because of that even the way we choose our leaders, it is not based on principle, because our mindsets are still within the colonial era. And this is why I believe when colonialism came, I think they had a plan and an idea to say the best way we can be able to colonialize this is first of all work on their mindsets. Is first of all work on their belief systems.
Capture the minds.
So that when we capture the minds, at least we can control them. So it is about the mindset transformation that we are going to improve as a country, because only then can we have a sustainable development, not only for the country, but also for the continent.
Right. Keagan, allow me to appreciate you for coming through to the program. I know that this was one of the first episodes we'll be having. We may have you anytime soon, I think, most especially after the launch of your book, Cursed by Belief. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, my brother. All right, you've been watching My Life Experience with IP, and I've been your host, Innocent Piri. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week with another episode. I've been speaking to an entrepreneur who is also an author in the name of Keagan Mulundu. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa. Good night.